Last Monday evening around dinner time, my contractor came over to my house to finish up some last minute things for my renovation. He noticed that I was also working late that night, and he asked me what I was working on. And I told him a talk about integrity and marketing. He said, integrity and marketing? He laughed. He's like, isn't that a thing of the past? He followed up with, yep, anything to get the sale. As he walked away, the thought popped into my mind, that line, ABC, always be closing, from the 1990s film Glengarry Glen Ross. The idea there was that salesmen were just pushed to get that sale, no matter what it took, without a concern for the client's best interest. And it's true, right? There is just so much pushy, sleazy marketing going on out there that we're just becoming numb to it. I mean, what has been sold to you this week alone? Can someone fix your business, fill up your bank account with finances, improve your relationships, your weight, your health? I had to share this one because this came into my inbox last week. Did you know that now AI in 20 minutes can build a business and you can earn $1 bazillion without doing anything at all? You just need 20 minutes. It is no wonder we are so burnt out and fried in this landscape. I was talking to one of my business partners about this, and we were reminiscing about the good old days. And even though we've always had some people who were a little dishonest in sales, it wasn't the norm that we're expecting now. We're clicking terms and conditions we don't read. We're downloading apps and we don't know what data they're collecting on us. Cookies follow us everywhere we go. It's no wonder we're skeptical. I discovered this problem as I was trying to get my own work out into the world. I spent a small fortune on firms from Fiverr to Fifth Avenue. Nothing led to marketing that I felt really, truly great about. After years of not being able to pay someone to solve this problem for me, I thought, well, what would any entrepreneur do? Go ahead and figure it out and fill that market gap. So I assembled a team who shared my passion for bringing integrity into marketing. And together we envisioned a world where marketing is enjoyable, sales are predictable, and when we do business transactions, they are both respectful and feel good for everyone involved. Our journey led us to a surprising discovery that integrity has been compromised in modern day marketing in 3 ways: structural, relational, and completeness. For the first example, structural integrity, I take you to the picture on the screen of this incredible cliffside home with this stunning view of the ocean. I'd like you to imagine for a moment that you find your dream property. And no, it might not be suspended off a cliff, but you find something truly incredible. What's your first step going to be? You're like, that's it, I'm buying it, and probably going to go find yourself an incredible architect. Someone that can help you envision the possibilities for your new home and also make sure that it beautifully fits within the landscape. But from there, do you jump to a build? No, probably not. You bring in a team of engineers, or your architect will, because those engineers are going to do a whole host of things, including making sure that house can be supported by the setting, in this case, a cliff, in your case, who knows, and also that the house is strong enough to support itself. But in marketing, we're actually rushing off to build before we get those architects and engineers in the room. I've seen for over a decade, businesses and organizations spend countless amount of time and hours figuring out what they're going to sell, putting love and energy into their products and their services, only then to feel really strapped for cash at the last minute and try to push those things to market. Well, that would be like hiring an interior designer or a contractor before you had an architect or structural engineers. It would be a very bad idea. And it does end up leading to marketing that is very ungrounded. We see it happen when people fling themselves all over the place, like trying to throw spaghetti at a wall. We watch that it does not stick. It does not work. Margarita Angelatis, one of my partners in True to Brand, describes it this way. So many people are trying to attract business when the true goal of a great marketing plan is that we are matching what somebody has to sell with what someone needs to buy. That same matching takes place from an architect who designs a beautiful home in a beautiful setting. And if we want to see integrity come back to marketing, it does need to start with structural integrity. So now that we have our structural engineered plans for marketing, what next? Standing here at MIT is the perfect place to talk about relational integrity. MIT is an institution and university trusted worldwide. It's trusted because of the research that gets done here. It's trusted for the students who graduate. University is not just a place to come to learn. As most of us, I think, know, when we go to university, we get more than that education. We get more than that ability to think. We get more than that ability to ask better questions. We also get relationships. And in university are the perfect conditions to create relationships that stand the test of time. Oftentimes, the university that someone goes to leads to their jobs for a lifetime. Why? Because people are being open, being themselves. They forge incredible relationships, and those relationships open doors and lead to opportunities for a lifetime. Universities also take integrity extremely seriously. There are strict penalties for plagiarism. There are strict penalties for submitting someone else's work as your own. But in marketing, we see this all the time. People copying someone else's messaging, looking at other people's websites to figure out what they're going to say. Nowadays, of course, we see people using AI in careless and sloppy ways. These are all akin to plagiarizing in marketing. And while there's not going to be formal repercussions, there are pretty severe repercussions, and that is sales don't flow through. It's an illusion that that's going to work. There's a very common saying, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. But what creates trust? Well, it turns out another one of my partners in True to Brand, Dr. Joel Baum, and his colleague, Dr. Minia Moldovianu, who are authors of the book Epinets, talk about trust in social networks. Trust actually has two conditions that are required. The first thing trust hinges on is that we believe someone has knowledge that we respect and want. The second is that we believe they will share that knowledge openly and fully with us. Joel describes it this way. Well, trust is when we think you've got something worth knowing, and I think you're going to share the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth with me. This brings me right back to the structural integrity we were just talking about. Why don't we share our truth, our whole truth, and nothing but our truth? In university, this is welcomed. We're developing young minds, but we move off and we go into the real world, and in the real world, it's much better to fall in line. Don't step on toes. Don't upset people. It's risky. But guess what? That's actually showing. If you're in rooms where it's unsafe to talk about what you need to talk about, it's actually a sign that you didn't do your structural engineering for your marketing plan, because that's exactly where you figure out your product market match. And now we will move to the third type of integrity, completeness. Although completeness might at first sound like, oh, completeness. A marketing plan has to be complete. It needs to be everywhere. That's not where we're going. Sometimes less is more. We see here an orchestra on the screen. It's a pretty special experience hearing an orchestra play beautifully together. The amount of effort that goes in to each and every one of those musicians just being able to get to that stage, then the effort to coordinate them all, and of course, the conductor pulling it all together. That is certainly a complete experience. What I'd like you to think about is each person on that stage or each musician in an orchestra as a marketing channel that a company could use. It could be social media, it could be PR, it could be networking, it could be conferences, it could be product placement, it could be influencers, it could be advertising. You get the idea. Apple, a company that's been around for a long time, can afford to put together an orchestra of marketing strategies, so to speak. They've had time to finesse those different strategies and put them together in a way that sounds amazing. So am I saying that that's what everyone needs to do? I am not. When I was little, my dad played the cello, and when we kids went to bed, I would hear him practicing in the living room. I used to love hearing him play. And for anyone who's heard a great soloist, or for anyone who's heard a great busker, then you know the sound of one instrument can be complete. What makes completeness is not being everywhere and trying to do everything. What makes completeness is actually just doing one thing really well. And like adding one or two instruments to a cello, like a piano and a violin, can fill out the sound, then yeah, as your marketing grows, you can add one, another, and another instrument. It's far more important that those instruments are played well, which once again brings us back to that structural integrity, because when you have done your marketing engineering, you know the rooms that are going to welcome you to speak your truth. You'll know which marketing channels are going to be the most high leverage for you. You will do those first. You will practice them until you do them well. Then you can layer on another, and another. And by bringing integrity back into your marketing, who knows? Maybe you'll be tomorrow's Apple. My name is Jill McCabe. I'm the founder of True to Brand. We are on a mission to bring integrity back into how we approach selling so that marketing can be enjoyable, sales can be predictable, and so business transactions are respectful and mutually beneficial to everyone involved. Thank you.